What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Brothers, what I have noticed is the celebrity world represents somewhat of a mirage to some of us who are outsiders. When we look at them and we see them on Instagram or we see them on social media or television, some of us will say, you know what, I would really like to give my life to be them for a day. They have money, they have fame. If they're a male celebrity, they have unlimited access to women. And some of that might be true. But we forget that celebrities are humans also. They put their pants on just like we do, athletes do, entertainers do. They get sick, they live, they die, they use the restroom, they get emotional, they have feelings, they have pains. And of course, celebrities experience untimely deaths of people that they care about. I'd like to talk about Cardi B. Now, for what it's worth, Cardi B can be a very unlikable person, but she's married to Offset, a brother that was in the Migos and I guess now is back in the Migos with Quavo and the late Takeoff. And of course, even though Offset left the group, it appears that there was some working relationship between the three of them. They all had, really good friends, were friends, loved each other, had grew up with one another. And of course, these guys have been through the storms. And that's one thing, man, when you've really been through it with some people, it really builds friendship. It builds character in friendship. And then one of those people experiences an untimely death. I'm trying to do the video without weeping myself because this happened to me last year with a good buddy of mine's named Kim Nakamic. Out the blue, gets killed. No words can still even express how I feel to this day about that. And Offset feels the same way with Takeoff. How do we know it? Because Cardi B has talked about it. She's trying to make her husband happy, trying to get him to smile. But Takeoff has been down in the dumps. They're living a normal life as it appears, but the brother is hurt. He's devastated. He can't believe it. And I can tell you exactly what happened. And this is the question that many of you brothers out there or sisters out there listening to me right now, that you've asked right now. When somebody dies an untimely death, here's what you ask. What could I have done that they may still be alive? That's the question we all ask. Because in my case, I was flying from Warsaw that particular day before he passed. I was flying to Warsaw to Paris, Paris to LA. By the time I got to Los Angeles, heading to Sacramento, I was only in Sacramento for 30 minutes. He had died, right? So then for me is, if I would have given him some work to do, he wouldn't have went out that night. So I blame myself for a long time, right? And many of you have done that for people who have passed away and you just recently saw them. Maybe you dropped them off and they got in the car with somebody else and something happened. And then you think about, what is it that I could have done? Or you think about the things that you didn't make right before they died. I think about that with Kevin Samuels. Kevin was asking me to move to Atlanta. SBK was living in Atlanta. He's the one that produces a lot of the stuff on my channel now, as far as my own personal content. And so we were planning to move to Atlanta, and SBK had actually went to Atlanta, was there trying to make a way for us to build the studio in Atlanta. And Kevin was saying, hey, listen, I like what you're doing. We were editing his videos and things like that. And obviously, if you see the Pan-African Dating Show, that's my new channel that I'm matching throughout the black world. Kevin was a big inspiration in me putting that together. And that's exactly what Kevin knew that I was trying to do. And we were going to make Atlanta the base of that because he was matchmaking. I wanted to matchmake too, and we wanted to combine our resources. So the Pan-African Dating Show actually is inspired by Kevin Samuels. I talked to him on May the 2nd on the phone. By May the 5th, he was dead. And the thought I keep coming up is, if I would have been in Atlanta about a year earlier, Kevin would have had more help. He would have had more infrastructure, less stress on himself in the business. He'd be able to take care of himself better. He'd still be alive. Same thing with Kim. Same thing with many of you. If you wouldn't have been there, your mother wouldn't have died. If you wouldn't have been there, such and such would happen. until I've accepted it that if not that day, someday. And that situation with Offset. I know what he has to be feeling, because what if he wouldn't have been able to do X, Y, and Z? What if he would have took a tour? But the thing about it is that I've understood something. And for many of you that are listening to this today, you might not be religious, but God will be done. Or as some of us say, in God's time. If we believe in a higher power or fate, we believe that God's will be accomplished. And for brother Offset out there who feels, responsible, could be down in the dumps, depressed, it takes time. Some of us never get over it. Some of us get over a little bit more than before. But the thing about it is, as life moves on, we understand one thing. One day is our time that's going to come. We don't know when. But secondarily, it's not your fault. It is possibly nothing that you could have done to stop what happened. The one thing that I believe that God does is he brings people into your life for a good lesson in life. You learn something from everybody you meet. Until your day is done, you learn. Cherish that. Because that's what you're going to get. Cherish that. And I want to explain that for what it is. I know that the brother has lost a loved one. My heart goes out to him. My heart goes out to you. Those of you who's lost to somebody this year or in the past. But there was probably nothing that you could do to stop that. And you should be okay with that. You love that person. You wouldn't want to hurt them. And what could you have done? The one thing that you can do is appreciate people while you're here. And that's something I need to do a better job of. Settle beefs and differences while you're here. Because you don't know how long you're going to be here. You don't know how long they're going to be here. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.